The bike we're taking a look at today has a quoted top speed of 35 miles an hour and a big 1000 watt motor. They say that it kicks out 120 Newton meters of torque and can go 45 to 90 miles on a single charge. That's all depending on whether you pedal it or throttle it. But we're gonna find out for real when we take it out for a spin and test all of these. It rolls on a burly full suspension frame and 26 by 4-inch wide fat tires. It's available in 3 different colorways. It retails for $13.49, but is often on sale. It's called the Freesky Eurostar Ultra. And before you go and buy one, let's review this thing and see if it's any good. Let's start with the electronics. The battery you get is a 48 volt, 23 amp hour battery. You get a 3 amp charger. And the geared hub motor is 48 volts and it has 1000 watts of power. Starting out back, the bike rolls on a set of Compass tires. They're 26-inch in diameter and 4 inches wide. They have a pretty aggressive tread pattern. This should be great off-road. The knobs are thick. They come out quite a bit off the tire, and it's got a center channel here, which will keep the bike nice and quiet on the road. For the drivetrain, you get a 7-speed Shimano tourney derailleur, a 7-speed Shimano freewheel. You get a big chain ring, some Freesky branded cranks, and some metal Welgo pedals. This bike has rear suspension and a really popular 4-bar linkage. Here's a close-up of the rear shock. Looks like a compressed air can, but there's no adjustments on this shock. No rebound, no adjustment, and there's no valve to take or put in more air pressure. What you get is what you get. Here's something you don't see often. The electrical lines are ran through the frame. So all the sensors, the lights, everything goes down to the controller. But both hydraulic lines for the brakes, as well as the cable and housing for the derailleur, are outside the bike. This doesn't look as sleek and fancy, but it makes it super easy if you ever need to change the housing or want to replace the cable later on. Looks like they made this part to look like a mid-drive motor, but it's not. It's got a rear hub motor. Inside here is the controller where all the wires for the bike's electronics meet. Here's a close-up of the front fork. It's got the Freesky logo on it. It has about 80 to 100 millimeters of travel, and I really like how they kept the stanchions black. Chrome stanchions just look kind of cheap. It has preload here on the left and a lockout here on the right. Here's a close-up of the LED headlight. We're gonna turn it on in just a sec, but first, let's take a look at the cockpit. Here's a shot of the handlebars. They're mountain bike style. They're not super wide and not super narrow, somewhere in the middle. They're pretty much flat in all regards, a tiny little bit of a rise and not much of a back sweep. Here's a close-up of the semi-log hydraulic brake levers. They do have an adjustment here in the side, so you can bring the lever in or out depending on how big your hands are. And they take mineral oil, so pretty easy to maintain. Here's a close-up of the semi-log 4-piston hydraulic calipers, and those bite onto big, thick 180 mil rotors, front and back. On the right-hand side, you get lock-on ergonomic grips. They're soft, they're comfortable, and they have a ton of grip. As far as ergonomic grips go, these are probably some of my favorites. Here's the super typical 7-speed Shimano shifter. And on the left, you've got the same rubber ergonomic grip. It's got a lockout collar on both sides, thumb throttle, and your remote for all the electronics. You get the plus and minus buttons here for your pedal assist modes. If you go all the way down to 0 and you hold this one, the bike will actually go into walk mode. You can turn your headlights on and off, power the bike on and off, and then go through all the information on the screen. Let's pop the battery in and turn the bike on. Okay, so to turn the bike on, holding the power button is gonna ask you for a password, but we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna use the NSC tag. You just wipe it on the screen here and the bike turns on automatically. So the display's super bright, it's got lots of contrast. You get your speedometer up top in miles an hour, or you can switch it to kilometers an hour. Using the I button, you can go through all the information like your odometer, trip, max speed, average speed, voltage left in the battery. That's pretty handy. Amps that you're currently using and wattage that you're currently using. Oh, and the time. Down here, you get your battery meter from empty to full. You get your pedal assist modes here. There's 5 pedal assist modes. Okay, let's turn the headlight on. Adjust it down a little bit. So I like how there's a nice cutoff at the top, really nice projector style headlight. And it seems pretty bright. Should do the trick. Let's see what kind of speed we can get with the bike's throttle. So as advertised, throttle only, we're only gonna get 20 miles an hour. If we wanna go faster and go up to that 35 mile an hour top speed, pretty sure we're gonna have to pedal. I'm pretty sure by seeing all the mud left on the bike, you guys have probably figured out that I've already been outside to test this bike. So let's go see how the bike performed. And we're outside on the Eurostar Pro from Freesky. This will be the first time I ever ride this bike. And like always, guys, this review's for you. I'm not gonna feed you a bunch of bull. If we find stuff that we don't like about this bike, I'm just gonna let you know. Let's see how fast we can get this guy going downhill. 35. 36, 37, 38. Oh man, little wet today, so I'm gonna do my best to keep the water off the lens, but I apologize in advance. You guys know what we do first. Let's do the hill test. There's my fire hydrant. Oh, there's a train there too. Let's go pedal assist 5, throttle only. Let's see what kind of power this 1000 watt 48 volt motor's got. Sorry guys, that train's just annoying. Okay, so throttle only, I'm getting about 19 miles an hour, just under 19 miles an hour before the hill really starts. And you know what? For a 48 volt motor, it's actually pretty torquey. Look at this, 15 miles an hour uphill. Freesky claims that this little 1000 watt motor's got 120 Newton meters of torque. So far, I believe it, because 16 miles an hour uphill, that's as fast as some 52 volt bikes. This is throttle only. I'm not helping the bike whatsoever. Nice work, guys. As far as I read, this bike will only do 20 miles an hour with the throttle. That means if we want to go faster, and they claim probably mid 30s on their website, I think, we're gonna have to pedal this bike. So let's take it over to Test Drive Island, unlock the bike, and test the throttle, the pedal assist, the brakes, maybe take it off-road, we'll see. But just before we take the Eurostar off to Test Drive Island, let's see how quickly it accelerates. I've got a lamp standard here and a driveway pullout just ahead. If we can go throttle only up to 20 miles an hour before the driveway pullout, we got a fast bike. And with 120 Newton meters of torque, I'm pretty sure this thing's gonna get there. Let's do it. Pedal assist number 5, throttle only. 1, 2, 3, go. Nice, comfortable, easy start, but then the power kicks in at 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah. You know, it's, I would put this as average for power, right? It's not a ton of torque. It's not like, you know, hold on to the bars because you're gonna fly off the back of the bike kind of torque. It's manageable, right? So for someone that doesn't have a ton of experience riding e-bikes, it's very, very smooth. The power comes on and it has the torque. So if the bike feels resistance, it's got the power to just keep churning through. So far, so good. And right now, the Eurostar is available in 3 different colors. You can get it in black and blue, black and white, like the one I have today, and black and red, just like that. We have a retail price of $13.49. Hopefully Freesky's nice enough to give me a little discount code for you guys to help you with that price, but $13.50 for everything you get here, not bad. But just like that, we're on Test Drive Island. Time to find out how fast the Freesky Eurostar Pro will actually go. Now, if you guys see on the website, it does show a 35 mile an hour top speed, and elsewhere where it actually talks about the features, it actually says that this bike will go 33 plus. So I guess if you're on the heavier scale, or you know, maybe the battery's not charged fully like it is right now, I'm at 100%. But 33 miles an hour is actually still very, very fast. So let's do the throttle only test right away. I've got the bike set in pedal assist number 5. I'm gonna go throttle only. Let's see what kind of top speed we can get. 3, 2, 1, go. $18, $19, $20. And the power just shut off. Okay, so here's the deal. This bike does exactly as advertised then. The throttle will take us to 20 miles an hour and then just stop giving us any more power. So that means that if we want to go any faster than 20 miles an hour, maybe up to that 35 mile an hour top speed, we're gonna have to put in some pedal power ourselves. Luckily, this thing's got a cadence sensor, and from what I'm feeling so far, it's just an on-off sensor. So as soon as it sees the cranks turning, it's gonna give us the power that we're set in. Right now we're set in pedal assist number 5. So let's do just that. I'm gonna throttle my way to 20 miles an hour, and then I'm gonna drop some gears and see how fast we can get pedaling the rest of the way up. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. And I'm gonna drop some gears right away because I know I'm gonna be needing it. Okay, 19, 20, there it is, 20 miles. Okay, let's drop the throttle and pedal. 25, 26, 28, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Oh man. All right, so I saw 34.6 on the display. That's close enough for me. That's the 35 mile an hour top speed that was quoted. Don't you guys just love it when a company doesn't bullshit you about the performance of their bike? They claim 35 miles and that's what we got. Right, so I'm getting a theme here. This seems like a bike for someone that's gonna wanna pedal it. So let's see what it's like to pedal. There's a quick clamp here. We can raise the seat a little bit just to get some more range out of our legs. Seat clamp nice and tight. Perfect. So I'm gonna start the bike in the granny gear, which is the biggest and easiest gear to pedal in. Let's lower the pedal assist down to 0 and see what this guy is like to pedal without any power. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, it's not fun. It's a big, heavy bike. Well, you know what? In the grand scheme of things, the bike's not that heavy. I think they say 70, 80 pounds. You know, for a big battery like that, 1,000-watt motor, big 26-inch fat tires, 80 pounds is pretty light if you consider other bikes. But it's an e-bike and it's not fun to pedal without any power. So let's go to pedal assist number 1. I'm getting just a little bit of power in the back here. And it takes me to about 10 miles an hour. Pedal assist 2, I'm gonna drop some gears here. There you go, about 15 miles an hour. Pedal assist 3, more power. About 20 miles an hour exactly. Wow, that's pretty nice. Pedal assist 4 takes me up to, you guessed it, 25 miles an hour. And then pedal assist 5, I'm just gonna ghost pedal here. I am not putting any tension on the chain, just using the cadence sensor. About 30 miles an hour. And if I wanted to go faster, you guys saw the top speed back there. I was actually pedaling super hard, which is nice because the chainring up front is really big. And even at the top speed for this bike, I was still able to put some tension on the chain. So that's nice to see. So as we pedal our way over to where we're gonna test the brakes, I just wanna give you guys my first initial impressions on this bike. For 1,350 bucks, this is quite a lot of bike. Big 23 amp hour battery, 1,000 watt motor with 120 Newton meters of torque. I mean, cheaper frame, cheap suspension, there's not a ton of adjustability, but so far it's super comfortable. I wouldn't recommend this as a mountain bike, but if you guys want a bike that can easily handle gravel trails and maybe some light green trails, or maybe even you just want to go explore the back roads on your local mountains or something like that, ride the fire roads, this would make a super comfortable bike to do that with. Just air down the tires a little bit and then just cruise around. You got plenty of power for the hills, and so far the bike's really capable. So here's the brake test. Here's the marker I want to stop at. I've got about a 20-foot distance to the first pylon here, the first marker. This is where I'm gonna slam on both brakes with the Freesky Eurostar, and hopefully this big bike can stop before 20 feet. I've got 180 mil rotors here and 4 piston hydraulic brakes. I've had these brakes on many other bikes before. They've performed pretty well, and I've got full confidence in this bike stopping within the 20-foot distance. The only thing working against us today is the weather. The road conditions are cold, wet. It was icy this morning. So let's see what kind of distance we can get. I'm gonna go all the way back, and just to keep it fair with comparing it to other bikes, going into that brake test, I'm gonna shoot for about a 28 mile an hour top speed. Okay, you guys ready? Let's go. Let's go to pedal assist 5. 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, and stop. Oh man. Well, we're super close, and you guys have to agree. I mean, I'm getting almost zero traction here on the road. So that brings up a good point, right? We're testing all these bikes, we're making sure that the performance is good, but there's still a factor of, you know, common sense here. When you guys ride on wet, slick roads, it's gonna take a little longer to stop, and that's perfectly normal. That makes total sense. But as far as brake performance goes on the Eurostar, I really like how they went with bigger rotors. They've got 4-pot brakes. If the road was dry today, it would definitely have stopped before the 20-foot marker. So as far as the braking performance with the Eurostar today, I like what I see. I went a little bit past the 20-foot marker, but hey, those are the conditions I'm dealing with today. Okay, let's do a quick throttle test right now. I've got the bike set in pedal assist 1, and I'm gonna throttle it. Let's see if we can limit the speed of the throttle with the pedal assist modes. I know I can hit 20 miles an hour. If I can get up to 20 miles an hour in pedal assist number 1, well, it's all or nothing with this guy. And 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, yeah. So no matter what pedal assist mode you're gonna be on the Eurostar, throttle is gonna get you up to 20 miles an hour. What do you guys say we take this thing off-road? There's the trail to the beach, and this big full suspension frame should do all right off-road, right? Got rear suspension, front suspension, not a ton of travel. I'd say maybe 80 millimeters of travel, and then same out back. But you know what? I haven't tested it yet, so let's do just that. Let's go pedal assist 5. Why not? Let's go. All right, let's go off-road. You know what? It's drier than I thought it would be. Oh, I spoke too soon. One little thing I'd change if you guys are gonna take this thing off-road is I'd take the kickstand completely off. You don't need a kickstand when you're riding trails. Gonna try not to get it too muddy. Oh no. I never put the fenders on this thing because I didn't think I'd need them, but today would have been a good day to have fenders. Smarten up, Ben. All right, throttle only in the sand. Ah, no problem. These big tires just go everywhere. It's so good. And 120 Newton meters of torque gets me in there. I may have to pedal a little bit. Let's see if pedaling's any different. Yeah, you know what? When you're pedaling, you actually get a little bit more power. I let go of the brakes here and I pedal. Yeah, like I am not putting any effort into this. This is effortless. Okay, let's have some fun. Woo! All right, now that we're all sandy, let's get ourselves off the beach. There we go. That's a lot of work for a little electric motor, man. Like, this sand is no joke. It's deep, it's wet, but this thing's got some power, man. Let's do it. Okay. Here we go, shake some of that sand off. Woo! Okay, I don't want to go there anymore. If we can somewhat stay dry here. No chance. You know what? I think it's the first time I'm riding on these tires. I don't know if the Warrior Pro had the same tires, but these are pretty grippy, man. Like, I've got no problems. Even in the wet little slick puddles there, no issues getting some traction. As far as off-road performance goes, Eurostar delivers. Right, so let's take 2 minutes and talk about bike and ride quality on this Eurostar Pro from Freesky. Let's start with the contact points. The grips are ergonomic. If you guys have seen my other videos and if you understand my background with bikes, I've got a big mountain biking background. And these ergonomic grips, they're just not for me, man. Like, I don't know, resting your palms on something, I don't know. I could care less for it, but I do love that they are lock-on grips. But I'm gonna point out something real quick. I didn't do much to adjust the cockpit here. It's pretty much how it came out of the box. But look at this. I can rotate the grips just with my hands. So make sure everything's tight. Go through every little bolt, make sure it's hand tight, and then give it a good grip and see if you can rotate it. These things are loose, and oh no, actually the right side's good, left side's not. So go over your stuff. As far as bars go, I mean, it's a flat mountain bike bar. I think if I was to hold on to this bike for a lot longer and take it off-road, take it on some long rides, I would probably put a nice short stem, probably a 35 or 40 millimeter stem, get the bars nice and close to me, and then put a mountain bike bar with a little higher rise on it. That's just my preference. You know, I understand why they do this. They want to cater to a bunch of different size riders. And, you know, if you're taller than I am, 6 feet and above, you'd get along with this, no problem. There's tons of reach, and a lower bar puts more pressure on your front. So if you're looking to get as much traction as you can while riding on gravel and light trails, that's the way to do it. Get yourself nice and positioned over the front of the bike and put lots of pressure on the front wheel. You'll never slip out like that. The seat, I've got no problems with the seat. It's big, it's cushy, it's wide, pretty comfortable. You know, I've been on the bike for a good 2 hours now, and I've got no problems. Still comfortable. So, and then the pedals are typical generic metal Welgo pedals. I've seen these pedals on a ton of other bikes. They're pretty inexpensive. They're metal, so they're not gonna wear out, and they've got a little bit of grip. But if you're gonna be taking this thing off-road, especially this time of year when the weather's cold and you know, you might have snow, you might have some boots on, and with these they're gonna be super slippery. So I probably opt to get some nice metal pedals with some metal spikes. That'll definitely increase your grip. But as stock pedals, they are what they are. Next, let's talk about the sitting position on this Eurostar. I would probably say that this is a very neutral position. I'm not super hunched over the front. I'm not leaned back like a cruiser. It's fairly neutral, right? I think I felt the same on the other Freesky bike I rode a little while ago, the Warrior Pro. Similar posture. You can put some weight on the front as is stock, but you know, for me, I'd probably shorten the stem, get a little higher rise bars, and I'd be super happy. If you guys are interested, I'll put a link to my favorites in the description box below. The frame on this bike, I mean, I've got no problems with the frame. There's nothing that has come loose. There's a couple of cool things about the frame I should show you. Check this out. Here, let me go to the other side, because this is where you're gonna see it. Freesky has opted to go with a few cables inside the frame and a few cables outside the frame. I think this is genius for one reason: maintenance, right? If you're out in the elements, your bike gets wet, obviously these cables will corrode, and you know, once in a while after some use, the cable doesn't really slide through the housing anymore, right? It just kind of gets gunked up. And you know, the inside, the plastic sleeve inside the housing, it wears out, and then it just becomes really hard to shift the gears. It doesn't shift as smoothly, and you want to change that. Having this cable outside of the frame and not fished in is actually genius, because it's super easy to do your own maintenance. The only cables that are going in the bike are the ones that handle all the electronics. You've got the headlight, you've got the big cable here for the display, you've got the cable for the remote. All the electronics go through the frame, and then the shift cable, the hydraulic line for the rear brake, and the hydraulic line for the front brake all go outside the bike. So all the lines that you would need to do maintenance on, if you wanted to, they're all outside, so they're super easy to grab, easy to get a hold of. It doesn't look as nice and as sleek, but for living with the bike and maintenance, that makes a big difference. The suspension on the Eurostar is mediocre, I'd say. You know, there's no adjustability on the rear shock. It works well. It smooths the road. I mean, it does what it's supposed to, right? It makes a bumpy road smooth. It just adds to comfort. But it's not like a high performance suspension package, right? The front fork, listen to this, right? There's a little bit of a clunk when I pull up. It kind of springs to the top position, and it's kind of harsh. I've definitely ridden better forks out there, but this is very typical suspension that you're gonna find on bikes in this price point. That's just how it is. And finally, the tires. I'm pleasantly surprised with the tires. I got a lot of grip when we took it off-road. They're not super loud, so it's nice on the road. You know, for big 26" by 4 fat tires, they're pretty good. A bike like this is gonna be very multi-purpose, right? On the bike, it says Freesky, go anywhere. Well, that's pretty much bang on when it comes to a bike like this. Same with the Warrior Pro. I mean, full suspension, lots of torque, big battery, tires that'll pretty much take you anywhere. And then finally, the electronics. As far as the motor performance, I think it's great. The motor's fairly quiet, you can barely hear it. It's a big 23 amp hour battery, so lots of range. The display, look at this, right? The display is nice and bright. I can see everything. It's nice and contrasty. The one issue I have, and this is worrying me just a little bit, is that, look at this. I've been on this bike for 2 hours now. I've done about 9 miles on it. And look at this. The battery still shows full at 100%. Like, I know for a fact that this battery is not still at 100%, right? It only makes sense. I put 10 miles on it, and a 23 amp hour battery will probably last us, you know, 30 to 40 miles if we're conservative with it and we're putting in some of our own power, right? Like, look at this. I'm using the throttle here. It's got some voltage sag and it's getting down to 96%. Even 96%, I don't think is correct. So as far as the display showing the right range or the right battery capacity, I think it needs some adjusting. So you can actually set with the I button, you can actually get the display to show you the exact voltage that's left in the battery. I don't know if that's more accurate or not, but you know, the battery still shows you know, 97% full, so who knows. Right, so $1 million question. Who's the Freesky Eurostar Pro really for? Well, it's for someone who wants the bike that goes everywhere. That sounds super cheesy to say because that's kind of their slogan, but they made a bike that embodies just that, right? With a few exceptions in there, you can pretty much take this bike anywhere you want. It's got the range, it's got the power, it's got the frame, it's got the support, it's got the comfort, it's got the tires, it's got the grip. I mean, it has everything to go anywhere, right? For 1,350 bucks for a big suspension, 1,000 watt motorbike, 23 amp hour battery, pretty good value, you know? I'd put it kind of middle of the pack. I've definitely been on some nicer bikes, but they've definitely been on the higher end of the price spectrum. Even for someone who just wants to use it as a commuter or maybe a bike to just kind of go around town, this bike's super comfortable, man. You can easily change the stem and bars to make this bike more of a cruiser. Speaking of cruising, I never even showed you guys. Check this out. When you hold the throttle for a while and the bike notices that you're at the same speed for about 5 to 10 seconds, you get a little display here, and the bike has cruise control, right? So this really makes it a cruiser, right? You're on back roads like this with no traffic around. You just want to sit back and enjoy the view, not have to worry about pedaling or even pushing the throttle, right? Like right now, I'm doing 19 miles an hour with no pedaling, no hands, no throttle, just enjoying the view and enjoying this bike. So I want to give a big thanks to the people at Freesky for sending the Eurostar Pro over. I had a blast riding this bike and reviewing it for you guys. If this is a perfect bike for you, the first link in the description will take you right to their website. It'll give you up-to-date pricing. And if Freesky is nice enough to give me a discount code to help you guys even further with the price, it'll be right underneath that link, so don't forget to use it. And if the Freesky Eurostar Pro is not the right bike for you, that's okay. Maybe the bike in this video will be more what you're looking for. I'll see you guys over there.